Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Gate 7 International, your number one English source for all things Olympiacos. My name's Costa. This is a special episode today. It's not a football one. Basketball is top of the agenda. Final four of the EuroLeague in Kaunas, Lithuania is around the corner. Around the corner, I mean tomorrow. It's a semi-final between Olympiacos and Monaco, and I'm joined by special guests from RedPointGuard. I have on the right Manolo, and on audio, Red Emerald or Nico, aka Red Emerald, joining us. Guys, thanks so much for joining the podcast today. Very excited to have you, and it's the first time this season that you're on the pod, isn't it?
Hello, Costa. Hello, Nick. It's the first time this season, but it's a tradition to have this podcast before the Final Four last year. So I hope we make it every year.
If I'm not wrong, we did that last year, just before Game 5 against Monaco. It must be a coincidence that we get this invitation right now from Costa.
I hope that's a good omen ahead of tomorrow's game. How did you guys experience the Fenerbache series? I know we were just talking about it off camera. Nico, you said that you were expecting it to be a hard-fought encounter, 3-2, all the way to Game 5. Was it the same for you, Manoli?
The truth is that I expected Fenerbahce to be competitive. My prediction was Olympiakos at 4 games, to tell you the truth. I didn't expect to lose a game here in Greece. I expected to finish the series in Turkey. As Nico said off the camera previously, Fenerbahce did a very good job defensively to eliminate some of our weapons. But I think that the quality, the depth of our team, as well as the leadership of our players, and of course the good chemistry that we have playing 2 years the same almost players, led us to qualification to our 12th Final Four, which is a great milestone for this team.
Indeed. I mean, it's, this team has built such a great following, of very mature following. Like the experience that I had in Peace and Friendship Stadium the other day was very different to football stadium. The fans, they have a real belief in the team, even when things seem to start going wrong. They don't get too stressed, grouchy. They get behind the team. They're patient with the team and the players. Very supportive. It's a completely different atmosphere to football, particularly this season. Football's been somewhat a disaster, as my co-host Labro likes to use that word very often to describe the football situation. But before we dive into the Final Four, if you look back at Olympiacos through COVID, and COVID kind of feels like it was a while ago now, but it really wasn't. Like a couple of years ago, before Barzokas came in, Olympiacos were in a bit of a strange place. Spanulis coming to the twilight of his career, and we didn't make the playoffs, I think, in his last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but could Olympiacos fans really realistically expect this team to achieve consecutive Final Fours last year and this year? And would I be a pessimist if I said that I think what we've already achieved is a great achievement, even if we don't win it, which of course we all want to? But did you expect this? Manoli, I'll go with you first.
Okay, thank you. The truth is that the process of reaching here was very faster than most people expected. As you said, Coach Barzokas came in January 20, just before the COVID outbreak. And after one season that the team, as you said, did not qualify the playoffs and had a mediocre season without playing in the Greek league. Last year, it had a breakout season, I would say, because I think all the players and the organization started to have a different culture and philosophy in terms of playing style. As you saw, Olympiacos is based on a more team-based, let's say, offensive game, and always has the defensive mentality and intensity, which is crucial for the basketball played in Europe. So the framework was clear, and I think that the existing players, as well as the new ones, and I'm referring, of course, to Walkup, Fall, mostly, had a really quick and instant adjustment to the team. I think they're only 2 years, and we feel like they're 5 or 6 years in the team. The bond, the binding is very strong. So we all expected that Olympiacos would reach again to a Final Four and be a title contender, but how quickly all things happened is really impressive, I think, and we have to credit all the people in the organization for this evolution.
Nico, what do you want to add?
A lot. I think that there's no secret that this club has some legacy. They have some know-how, especially under the management of the Angelopoulos brothers. Since 2008, 2009, this is the 8th time we've been to a Final Four. Okay, and they achieved that with Coach Giannakis, with Coach Ivkovic, with Coach Barzokas, with Coach Feropoulos, and now again 2 times with Coach Barzokas. Okay, so it seems that there is like something like a secret, but the secret is that they trust the people, and they have a lot, of professionals in the club that they are in the club for many years, like Christos Bafes, or in the past they had Milan Tomic, they had Coach Marmarinos. A lot of the assistants were staying, for a long period of time. Now the last 2 or 3 years in the development, they have Mr. Calavros. So if you have like a backbone in your organization of people that you trust, and they stay with you for a long period of time, and you know how to build up teams, which it seems that we have this type of capability or skill, I don't know how you want to call it, then yes, you can have great results. So I would not be surprised if Angelopoulos brothers, they stay, for 10 more years, and they have 5 more Final Fours if they keep on doing the same things. Okay, because if you trust, the team and your organization, then you get results. And I was of this opinion many years ago. Manolis, can be like the person that can validate my comments. I was saying that I think that this is the approach that we should have, because we don't have a lot of money to spend. We don't have big budgets any longer. So we have to create value, from within.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, again, if we compare the footballing situation with the basketball situation, as you said, there's a core of people that have been there for a very long time that create a culture within that stays the same throughout a course of time. I think that's very important.
Continuous procedure, as Nikos explained. it's something that goes on.
It's evolved. It keeps evolving, right? And that's super important. I mean, you talked about how quickly the guys integrated, like the new players last season. Of course, in previous seasons, I think we'd focused on bringing in some players that didn't have established EuroLeague caliber. But last year that changed. We brought we brought in Foul, for example. Those kinds of players, they have experience in the EuroLeague. I think that was super important last year. But still, it's super impressive how they've integrated. And then players like McKissick that came from Turkey, he didn't have that EuroLeague experience. You see the improvement, like even when it's hitting threes, for example, defenders back off and they provoke him to shoot, and his 3-pointer has become more reliable. Knock on wood, he hits them tomorrow as well, and everybody hits the threes. But no, it's you mentioned the word bond as well in the team, like the binding of the team. I think it's more than that. It really is like the bond between the team, the backroom staff, and the fans. And last year it was Belgrade, just north of Greece, of course, and we have the relationship with the Red Star fans, and it was a crazy outing for Olympiacos fans to go up to Belgrade for the Final Four. This year is a little bit different. It's in Lithuania, in Kaunas, in a beautiful stadium. I have to say, like Zalgiris' arena is fantastic, but it's a little bit of a difficult one to get to. And I know, Nico, that you have a story that you want to share about some fans that are desperately trying to get their way into Kaunas because you can't find hotels. Like the planes are hard to get.
Yeah.
Tell us.
First of all, I have to say that we have quite impressive representation from our page, the RedPointGuard. Half of the team is already there, which is good for us, but we're a little bit jealous that we are not with them. Nevertheless, we hope that they bring back the trophy. But yes, speaking about what is going on right now for the people that they have traveled or they are in transit or they're planning to be there tomorrow, I have a story from a friend of our community that he decided to go by car, and he started, I don't know, yesterday alone. Just imagine he's driving from Athens, to Kaunas, and he was posting midday some post on Twitter, and he was saying that he was just around Berlin, halfway, something like that. And I couldn't even believe, this loyalty and the love, for Olympiacos and for the club. And sometimes, you say, okay, it's like fans, but how many fans you have like that? Honestly, I don't want to call his name because he's gonna use it against me at some point. But yes, I'm impressed. And there are a lot of people that are traveling from other places. Like last year, we had a good friend of ours that he came from New Zealand.
And he once again travels to Kaunas, but this time from Ireland.
He's also, yes, this year he's also traveling to Canaan from Ireland. So people are traveling from all around the globe. We have some friends that they traveled, and I think they're traveling this year from Washington. So what can I say? It's just the connection that we have built up together with the team and what we believe that we can achieve all together.
Oh, that's as the Olympiakos chant says, "Για την αρρώστια πας παντού," right? So
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Όπου παίζεις εσύ.
Exactly. So okay, let's dive into tomorrow's game. Monaco. A lot of people were saying before we even qualified, like if we get through, if we get past Fenerbache, we're going to be playing either Maccabi or we're going to be playing Monaco. And a lot of people were saying it's not a good, neither team is a good matchup for Olympiacos because both teams are very athletic, etc. Now, I want to get your guys' thoughts on, obviously, get your first impressions on tomorrow's game, what you're going to be looking out for, what do you think is going to be key tomorrow against Monaco. This is a team that we lost to twice in the regular season this year. It's the team that we knocked out of the playoffs last season. We took it again to game 5, winning at Sef. Just the thought that occurred to me ahead of tomorrow. Playing Fenerbache, I think they had a very clear game plan to stop us playing our game. And to credit of coach Barzokas, I don't think he ever took the team out of. I don't think he ever thought, I'm going to change what I've been doing all season. I think he kept trying to find, solutions to the defensive blocks that Itoudis was putting up, but I don't think he ever thought to change his philosophy. Like what Olympiacos has been about all season, like the ball movement, the extra pass, the cuts into the basket, the kickouts, the beautiful basketball we've been playing all season. And we only saw flashes of that in game 5, in my opinion. So my feeling is that, is Monaco really going to do that? Like, are they going to sacrifice like their game plan to try and stop us? Or are they going to focus more on like what's gotten them to the Final Four this season? How do you see that that interaction tomorrow in tomorrow's game? And maybe this time I start with you, Nico.
Sure. So first of all, the game 5 against Fenerbahce was a little bit different from the other 4 games, because I at least this is what I understood. I believe that Barzokas decided to win the game inside the post, and he wanted to get a lot of the Fenerbahce defense into some uncomfortable situation, get some foul shots, and make them feel the pain of defending the post. While in the previous 4 games, we tried to just, create our own type of Olympiacos basketball and win the game with a lot of automations and a lot of shots, from the 3-point line. And this didn't work. Obviously, we got 2 games, but the overall picture on the first 4 games was that it was like a 50-50. It was a very tight series. But in game 5, we just pay them back, with the same, let's say, coin in the post, because in game 1 and game 2 they dominated the post. Now, for tomorrow's game, this is obviously a semi-final, and independently of what the coaches and the players are saying, openly, into the media, there is stress, and there is a clear favorite for this game. That should be Olympiacos, because we have the fan base. They ended up first in the regular season. They got EuroLeague MVP. They got the coach of the year. Everybody feels like, oh, we are on the top of the mountain. But it's not like that. Yeah. Last year, we went to the Final Four in Belgrade in game 5 with home court advantage against Monaco. That says a lot about the quality of this team. This year, we lost 2 times from them. And to be honest, both matches that we lost were like fair losses, They played much, much better than us. Now, they have the physicality and they have the depth to create a lot of troubles to us. And they're going to try, in my opinion, to win the game from their offense, while Fenerbahce try to win the series from defense. So we need definitely to have a different angle into this game. It's not about James. It's not about Okobo. It's not about Lloyd. It's about their ability to create, situations from, ISO plays, one-on-one, stretch the floor, and give you, hard time, because you don't have the legs and you don't have the speed to defend all these guys one-on-one. So what are you going to do? Are you going to try and offer some support on defense by doubling or, closing the paint? and then you give them the shots. Because if you try, let's say, to play one-on-one James with walk-up, you most probably end up with having walk-up at the end of the first half with some fouls. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not the same type of a puzzle for Bartzokas, I believe. This is like my first take on this, and I will let Manolis contribute with his thoughts, and then probably I can come back into this.
I agree with Nikos in the part that he described about offense of Monaco. Monaco has 3 elite guards in ISO who can cause many troubles, and I expect Obradovic to use this 3-guard lineup. In reality, during regular season of this year's EuroLeague, these were the teams that caused us trouble. Teams with ISO guards like Maccabi, we lost in Tel Aviv, like Valencia with Chris Jones, and we could handle
Zvezda with Campazzo and
right. On the other hand, we handled very well teams like Barcelona or Real Madrid, for example, that have a different playing style and backcourt philosophy. So Monaco, as Nikos described, with the physicality and ability in their backcourt, have, let's say, a different playing style in offense than Fenerbahce. On the other hand, I think that we can have the upper hand in the front line. I don't believe that Motiejunas and Hall can be so crucial as Yekiri and Motley were in the series with Fenerbahce. And I also don't believe that John Brown and Monet and Blossom game will have the same impact as Hayes and Pierre had. So I believe that Sasa will have the opportunities to build momentum and have a good game. Now, as far as the defensive approach is concerned, we have good man-to-man defenders like Papanikolaou, Walkup. I hope that we see again the good Laretζakis, the good version of Laretζakis. I just don't want our defense to let Monaco at any stage of the game find momentum, and have the style of play, the playing style that, she feels comfortable with it. So I think it will be very important to control the rhythm of the game, not to have a very high score. I believe that in contrary what happened with Fenerbahce, that we tried, especially in the 5th game, to run in the open floor and create, more offensive plays. I think that the tempo maybe should be slower. It would be more convenient for us because we have the quality and the offensive talent to dominate in 5 versus 5.
So you think it will be, more to our benefit to go for a patient kind of set game? Don't open the game up. Don't let them run in transition. That's where they can get easy buckets, particularly with the fast-paced guards that they have on the floor.
Yes, I believe that the game at maximum 80 points would be okay for us. We would be clear favorites in such a score, let's say.
I think I can't remember the statistics, but obviously, Olympiakos' DNA is built to a great extent on that, defensive mindset and building energy from defense for years now, going back to 2012, 2013. That's what I identify with this team, is playing hard defense and gaining momentum and energy from that. And I think a lot of the focus going into the game tomorrow naturally is on how do we stop Mike James, how do we stop the three guards, Jordan Lloyd, Okobo, etc. And you need all the dogs to turn up. The pack of dogs that we've been talking about at Olympiacos. They all need to turn up tomorrow. Thomas Walkup for me didn't have a great series against Fener. I'm expecting him to turn into beast mode tomorrow. Ladezakis too. I think he didn't have a great series. I'm waiting for those guys to turn up tomorrow. All of those guys, Shaq McKissick on the defensive side, Isaiah Canaan. Isaiah Cannon's not really known for his defensive prowess, but in Game 5, bloody hell, he defended really hard, and you saw things from him in Game 5 that you haven't seen from him in his whole career, I think. And also, I want to say one thing about Isaiah Canaan. We haven't spoken all season, and maybe this is kind of a sidetrack now on Canaan. I want your guys' opinion on his role tomorrow, but generally, what have your thoughts been on the player? Because I think he's divided opinion a lot. Being compared to Dorsey, he's not the same kind of player. What are your thoughts on him? Did you, and also when he was cut from the Greek league, what was your reaction? Did you think it was over for him? Like, I have to tell you, my reaction there was, he's going to take this and turn it into a positive, because he's only got 2 games. I mean, he's got the playoffs. That's all he's got. And now he's got 2 more games. One. Well, hopefully 2 more games. The final as well. Not a third place one. But some of your thoughts on him, I'm really curious on the whole comparison, Dorsey, Canaan, like, should he stay next year? We're kind of sidetracking, but I'm really curious to get your views on that. Manoli, you're nodding your head a lot, so I go with you first.
Look, as you said, the decision to exclude Canaan from the Greek playoffs was somehow expected, because, as Mr. Barzokas said in an interview, you couldn't go against Panathinaikos with only 2 centers. You could have early foul trouble, you could have an injury, and remain only with 1 big guy. And Panathinaikos has at least 2 big men like Papagiannis and Gudaitis who could cause you trouble. So I think it was a decision that had to be made to take Bolomboy as the 6th foreign player. Now, as far as the general conversation about Canaan is concerned, we all had another picture of him, not only from his years in Unix, but from his previous career. We had a picture of another player. The fact that he came here to operate mainly as an off-guard, not with so much time the ball in his hands, not to create his own shot, and to be fed by his teammates to take shooting, and was somehow something that we didn't expect. But with the ups and downs that he had, and all the the controversy, as you said, that was created comparing him to Dorsey, that had another role and another type of player, of course. Although I'm not fully satisfied with him, I expected more in terms of his shooting efficiency and his overall, let's say, firepower in offense. What really impressed me, and I'm very proud of him, and I have to thank him, is that he never created any trouble. He accepted this role, and as you said, he, how can I say it? He dropped his selfishness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had no selfishness about that, and he accepted a role, a facilitating role, as you said, a defensive role. Take open threes, or have a limited offensive role, but I will play defense from my heart and all the time. So this was too much for him, I guess, and he delivered in this area of the game.
Nico,
Now,
do you want to add anything? Sorry, go ahead.
For the last part of your question, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't keep him for another year for many reasons. Not only for his age, but I believe you can find a better player who can give you more things.
Is he on a 1-year contract?
I'm not sure about that, and I don't want to share misleading information. But I think there is an option, maybe from the team. I'm not sure about that. It's just a guess and instinct. It seems difficult to have 2-year contract with no option.
Okay. Nico, I don't know if you want to add anything on Canaan. Not needed. We can move on. But do you want to?
I can just add on one thing, that the reason that we got Canaan was that Dorsey decided to leave the team and pursue, his opportunity in the NBA.
Yeah.
So it was not a decision by the club to release Dorsey and go for Canaan.
Clear.
Then when it comes to the decision making, we have seen that at this level in EuroLeague, you need to have players that they have some type of EuroLeague experience in order to be, let's say, useful to situations like this. So I think that what Bartzokas did, he tried to take like a well-educated type of a risk with a player that he believed that he knew. Obviously, like Manoli said, he didn't have a great season. But I have to say that in the playoff series against Fenerbahce, he ended up with 7.6 points and 55% from the three-point shot.
Yeah.
And his defense in all 5 games was above average, in my opinion. So if I want to give this guy like credit, is that he waited for his opportunity and he got it. And if tomorrow he ends up by having like a great game, I will not be surprised, to be honest, because he has the caliber, he has the skill, and he has the character. But obviously he didn't become like a major player for this team in the regular season. So that's my take on Canaan. I just want to return back to tomorrow's game, because I think there are a lot of details that we probably want to spend some time. One of the things that we need to pay a lot of attention, and we had this issue with against Fenerbahce, was the offensive rebounding. That we are going against a team that they are quite talented in the offensive rebound, and they have the width, and they have the athleticism, and they have some players like Donta Hall, for example, that they can really give you a lot of issues. Now, the definition of a good, successful defense is that you play defense and you get the defensive rebound. If you don't get the defensive rebound, it's not a good defense. It's a second opportunity for the opponent. And in this type of games, where Monaco is coming like a team that is trying to steal, sort of, the game. I don't believe that, but that's like the psychology of the team, because you have the fans, you are number one, you have the MVPs and all that. They're trying to steal the game. If they have a good momentum in the game and they start having more plays than you, it can become quite difficult. So, in my opinion, defensive rebounding from our end needs to be secured. I don't know how you do that. When you have the short lineup with Larenzakis in, if you have to try and protect, your post from players like Diallo or John Brown, it's going to be tough. So this is what I'm expecting. The other thing is that in both games that we lost against them, I think Brown did. Manoli, you have much better memory than myself, but if I remember right, Brown had a very good defensive game against Sasha. I don't remember by heart and don't have the numbers in front of me, but this is the general feeling that I had that got under his skin somehow. Now in tomorrow's game, we need Sasha not to be the MVP caliber performance, but we need him to be at least good for his standards. Because if you don't have the score from Sasha, it's going to be a close game. So these are two things that I wanted to add to the discussion, and also how we're going to contain Okobo, because you cannot have woke up playing 40 minutes and guarding either James or Okobo. This will not happen. So who is the player that is going on Okobo, especially in the closing, let's say, part of the game? In my opinion, it's like something that the team and the staff need to carefully think about, because with Slukas, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like who's the, and we're probably jumping the gun a little bit. And I was going to ask Manoli, what five do you put out in the last quarter, like when it's the crunch time? And I think Nico raises an excellent point there. With those three elite guards that they have on the floor, who do you put out besides Thomas Walkup to defend? And how do you not play Kostas Luka in the fourth quarter? How do you plan for balancing that out in the last quarter in crunch time?
To tell you the truth, I'm more worried about Jordan Lloyd than Okobo. I believe that Okobo, this is just a personal opinion and not, of course, a fact. I believe that Okobo is not made for big games or to be a leader and lead his team to a victory in such a game. Maybe I would be proved wrong, hopefully not. But I'm more afraid from Lloyd. He had a great game, great fifth game against Maccabi. He's a player who, when he catches fire, it's difficult to stop him. And he has clutch skills, so I think it will be crucial to try to limit his offensive actions and play good defense on him. Of course, as we said previously, it's important at least to stop two of the three guards. And this will be, along with the domination in defensive rebounds, as Nick said, it will be one step towards the victory. Now, as far as the other question is concerned, you want to have in the last minutes, of course, the good offensive players who can deliver in offense, but you also need, especially against Monaco, good defensive players. So Walkup and Slukas, there is no question about being in the court together, but you cannot have Canaan with them as you had Dorsey last year against FS and the other games, as I remember. Papanikolaou, we know him very well for his great defensive approach and how he guides his teammates for his off-ball game, his 3-point shooting. But I believe against Monaco, you will also need a player with ISO skills like McKissick. So I would go with this lineup: Sluka, Okapa, and McKissick in the backcourt, and Vezenkov and Black in the last few minutes. I think we saw it also in last year's semifinals and in other games that Bartzokas may prefer, in the last minutes to have a more mobile center than Fall. Not that Fall, of course, he's quite mobile for his size, and he can play very well switch defense. But Black can get fouls. He can cause trouble inside the paint with his strength and finishing close the basket. So I think he could be more appropriate against Hall, because I don't think that Motiejunas will be in the last minutes. He would be a liability for Monaco. Motiejunas will have the task to start the game and play with his back to the basket or try some threes, and I believe that Hall will be the center who will take most minutes. So that would be my lineup. Of course, this depends on the circumstance of the game, the momentum of each player. It's something that you cannot predict, but I think that this would be a more suitable lineup against Monaco, as we have seen this team.
Question to you both, and maybe this is a little bit naive from me, but Tariq Black and Mustafa Fall, both terrific players, but not the most athletic. And you have another center on the bench who came in this summer as I think, pretty big transfer from Tesca, Joe Bolomboy. How much of an increased role are you expecting for him tomorrow, given that athleticism that we talk about in Monaco's squad, like Donta Hall in particular in the paint? Do you see more of a role for him tomorrow, or do you think Bartzokas is just going to go, what his game plan has been so far, which is starting with Foul, bringing in Black, and maybe some trash minutes for Bolomboy at the end of a few quarters? Like, what do you think? And also, like, how have you rated his transfer this season? Nico, maybe you first.
Sure. Bolomboy was also a disappointment. I had high expectations. Basically because I believe he would bring like the athleticism and the above the rim type of plays that we needed. Also, he's a quite good defender, but we haven't seen that this year. Nevertheless, I think he's having a role in tomorrow's game because of the athleticism that Monaco is going to bring. So is it 3, 5, 6, 7 minutes? I don't know. Depends on the foul situation and how the game develops. The big guys in this type of games, they are very much dependent from the usage that they get from their guards. So, and this is where I think we have a significant advantage over Monaco, because we have players that they know how they should behave and how they should make the right decisions in this type of situations. This doesn't mean that they're going to make all the right decisions, okay? This is like the history is not going to predict, the future performance. But if you have Slukas and if you have Papanikolaou and if you have Walkup, that he has proven that he's like this type of a player for this type of games, then in my opinion, you have an advantage that you can use efficiently your centers. While on the other hand, if the ball is at the hands of James, I think most probably he's going to take the shot. He's going to make a pull-up or he's going to drive. He's not going to see the pass. Okobo, on the other hand, he's much better when it comes to see, the line of the pass, but he also prefers to make shots. And Lloyd, he doesn't have a passing option in his game. So, in my opinion, Dante Hall, he cannot have a game without somebody offering him, the opportunity to score. And they don't have this guy, in my opinion. But of course, it depends how you decide to defend Monaco tomorrow. But we do. Slukas can make Bolomboy look like, I don't know, Birch or Dunston, okay? Because he has the ability to create, the space and make the pass at the right time. So Bolomboy, he's not a liability in tomorrow's game, in my opinion, at all.
Manoli?
Look, I was never a fan of Bolomboy, and I was skeptical about his transfer. But Bolomboy must play tomorrow for many reasons. He must keep the other big men, fresh. He must make the opposition feel him. I expect from him one thing tomorrow: to play with nerve. If I see him playing with nerve and so passion, I will be satisfied with him. Okay, he may be a little slow in his reactions. His
he looks a bit soft. He doesn't really look like he's in the game.
He looks a little bit soft. He's a little bit slow in his reactions, and how he cannot follow, let's say, the flow that is created by his teammates. Let's say he's a half step behind in some plays. But as Nico said, it will be important for him to match up with the other athletic players, make some fouls. I want the opposition defense to feel him, to make the other. They have two big men. He must try to get them tired and have also a role in tomorrow's game. I don't expect him to play more than 6-7 minutes, as Nico said.
But when he does...
But even if he does this, he must deliver something, even if this is a flagrant foul. There are things that can change momentum. He must play hard. That's
Manoli.
That is what I expect from him.
There's a quite good probability that you have to play some switch defense tomorrow, because they're gonna force you to play switch defense.
I'm not excited about his switch defense, Nico.
I know. But listen, do you prefer to have Fall trying, to guard James or Okobo and get the fouls?
Yes.
Or do you want to have Bolomboy to be sacrificed in this type of 2 or 3 games?
Yes, and to be sacrificed. Yes, of course. Yes, I agree in this.
So in the end, my question isn't entirely random because it is a player that he's played a bit part in the season. I think I remember the noise around him signing in the summer, and he only signed for 1 year because he has higher ambition, is what a lot of people were saying at the time, but haven't seen anything of that magnitude from him this season. But I think it's an interesting discussion around him tomorrow and his role, because okay, mate, show us why you're the big guy tomorrow. Even if it's 7-8 minutes, as you said, he has to bring it. And I agree with you, Manoli. Like the body language when you look at him, it's like kind of walking around the court. It's like, come on, man! Like give it everything you've got. And tomorrow, everyone has to bring it. So and it's not just him. Like obviously, everyone everyone in the squad tomorrow. But we're coming up around an hour now into the podcast. I think we've tried to analyze this game as much as we can, and I'm not going to ask you guys for match predictions because, like, what are we going to say? Like, it's not a regular season game. Like, this is do or die. Like, winner takes all, goes to the final. You know, nobody wants to play in a third place game. But I don't know how. Maybe I ask you guys a quantified question. On a scale of 1 to 10, like, how nervous are you going into tomorrow's game? Where are you going to be? Are you going to watch it at home with your family? Who are you going to watch it with? Are you going to order pizza and beer? Like, how are you guys going into tomorrow's game? What's your preparation? Game preparation, Manoli. Ela, Nico.
Costa, listen. Myself and Manolis, we are older than you.
We are boomers.
Yeah. Yes, we are boomers. So we have seen the semi-final against Panathinaikos in Tel Aviv and the semi-final against Panathinaikos in Zaragoza. Okay. Now, if you want to have a scale 1 to 10, then for those two games will be like 200.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you don't want to lose against these guys at this point of time.
Of course.
Now, all other games, it can be like you feel nervous, right? It's a semi-final, but at the end of it, we have seen that this is the 12th time that Olympiacos is in the Final Four. I'm not going to order a pizza. I'm gonna sit, on my regular corner with my laptop, speaking with my friends on Discord, trying to get all of my anxiety into writing stupid things or, chanting Olympiakos every 2 minutes. But I'm not going to be, extra nervous because I believe very much into this team. They should be afraid of us. That's my take.
I think this team has really earned our trust, and they've raised all our expectations. I said it at the beginning, like, I don't mean to make it sound like somewhat pessimistic, but for me, we're already successful that we're there and finishing first in the regular season and all of that. Obviously nervous, like you said. I take your point. I'm going to watch the game at home. I'm going to try and convince my wife to sit down and try and get my kids to eat popcorn around the couch and watch the TV, watch the basketball. That will be me tomorrow. It's a 5 o'clock tip off, which isn't great. I'm probably going to go and pick up the kids early from school. Manoli, what about you tomorrow? What's your game plan? What's your pre-game ritual?
As Nico said, I will definitely be less nervous than previous times, especially when we were younger. But tomorrow is a special day for me, so I have a good omen, a very good omen that makes me more optimistic, because it's my son's birthday, the younger one. I told you, the basketball fan. He was born the day that we beat CSKA 82-78 in 2017. So it's his 6th birthday in a similar situation against another team in the semi-final of Final Four. So we will have some friends here and watch it all together and celebrate his birthday, and I believe a great win. So if we take this omen as positive sign, I'm not nervous. I was more nervous when my wife had already birthed the child, and I was in the hospital yelling the same afternoon.
Να τον χαίρεσαι. Happy birthday in advance for your son. And I do hope that it is a good omen for tomorrow's game. Guys, I think
Ari is having a question about the Greek American.
I think he's talking about George Papas.
Yes.
What do you guys think about him? Like, I know he's, I mean, he hasn't played EuroLeague. I think he's played some minutes in some games where we've been up 20, 30 points. But like, is this guy somebody to look forward to next year in particular? Do you expect him to get more minutes? What's your take on him?
I think Papas has something that few players have. He has shooting instincts. It's something that it's natural for him.
Yeah.
He's a very good shooter, and he could operate as an off-ball wing. The main question and the main thing that he has to work on is to build his body a little bit to become stronger, and his defensive ability and overall approach. I believe that in this environment he will continue to improve. He has mentioned many times that he loves playing for Olympiacos. So, when you are in the team of your heart, you try harder. So I believe that he may have a role in the future. I don't think that he will be just this fringe player. Maybe he can develop to something that can, who can be a part of the team. Let's say 9th, 10th player in the future.
Nico, anything to add?
I mean, I'm always thinking, if he can get minutes out of any of the other players in this roster, and I don't think he can. Even against Lugis, he can't really get minutes. So he needs to work up, his body, and he needs to become much more physical and aggressive in the way that he's playing defense. I'm convinced he's going to learn about the European way of playing basketball and how Barjokas wants him to defend other players. But right now, I think he's like in need of time, or he has to work very, very hard during summer to secure a position in the roster for next year. The competition is what it is, and he just needs to show up. But he's a nice guy. I like him, and I really like his approach, and he's like a very very good player, for the chemistry of the whole team. And these guys are critical for success. So I'm very happy that we have him in the team this year. But for tomorrow's game in a semi-final, Ari, sorry, man. No. It's like a big gamble.
The fact that someone like Ari's
got
got
in the Greek finals.
In the Greek finals, probably he has some minutes. Why not? I mean, against this Panathinaikos, probably you can play a few minutes. I don't know. Sorry, but it's like I'm a fan, and sometimes I cannot behave appropriately.
I have to say, guys, the fact that our co-host Ari is following basketball is a great achievement in itself and speaks loud volumes about Olympiakos basketball team. Ari's a pure football guy, but I know for a fact he's been watching basketball and on WhatsApp. When I don't consider myself by any means a basketball expert. I played a little bit in high school. I know a few things, nowhere near the level of you guys. And it's always great to have you on to give us like those dimensions to think about. But it's always funny seeing like how anxious somebody like Ari gets as well. Or just it's different. Basketball's different. It's not like football. Like football, you can sit back on the couch and you can watch a fast-paced game, but basketball's really gritty. It's really stressful. Like I have a really hard time as well. Like my stress levels in a basketball game are crazy. there's up and down, up and down. You can be 15 points behind. Doesn't mean the game's over. It's never over. And these are all given things for you guys. Like basketball, you guys follow it every day. But you know, this example of Ari, there are many fans like that. This team has really taken a lot of people with them. Yeah, people that aren't pure basketball people. They just enjoy the culture and the bond, the energy, the love. They really convey it to everyone that's associated with Olympiacos across all sports. I think that that can be said. And you know, George Papas is one of those things. Like, he's not an important player in terms of, you know, being on the court, contributing on the court, but he's there in the dressing room. You see him and walk up before the game doing the rituals, and everything counts. Everything counts in the dressing room. And when there are those kinds of players like that who are accepting their role, you know, that shows you there's something great there. There's a healthy environment. And I think that's super important for sports. It's super important for Greek sports, Greek society, that we have some examples like that. And maybe I'm being too Olympiacos right now, but I really believe that we need those kinds of examples.
You have to invite us one time together with Ari and Labro, myself and Manoli, and we should talk about football. Okay, we can guys give you some, let's say, ancient history from the Stone Age of Olympiacos. We can really tell you about players that you probably haven't heard.
We can, you know, I've had that in mind, and I did want to. I've had this in mind to get you guys on to come and talk to us about this. This season, obviously, for football, in Labros's words, has been a disaster. But we can save that for another time for sure, guys. I would love to do that. And maybe this is a good point to, you know, we've just gone over an hour, and we can wrap it up. I want to thank both of you very, very much for coming on today. Big game tomorrow. And guys, if you haven't done so already, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please go and follow Manolo 77 on Twitter, Red Emerald on Twitter. Those are the handles for Manoli and Nico. You can find them below in the description as well. Don't forget to check out RedPointGuard as well, and also Aperitif by RPG. All of those handles are in the description below. You can go ahead and follow the guys on their socials. They do fantastic work for us at Gate 7 International. They are the reference point for anything that is independent, objective, Olympiacos basketball news, not only news, but analysis. Really great work that you guys are doing there. We really admire you. And again, real pleasure to have you on. Your chance now to plug anything you want before we close up. Who wants to plug?
Thank you, Costa, for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. We very much appreciate what you do. You are the best when it comes to Olympiacos football, but also, you know, what you're doing for the international community. I used to be like an expert for more than 10 years, and I was watching some of your shows as an expert, and I can definitely feel, you know, some other people out there that they are where they are, and they have this connection, you know, through your channel with Olympiacos, other fans, and with what they love, which is obviously Olympiacos. I just want to send our greetings to all of the people that are traveling to Kaunas and to Vilnius, to the members of the RedPointGuard that are already there. Safe travels to everybody, and let's hope that we have a good result tomorrow.
On that note, guys, again, thanks very much. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock tip-off Greek time, Olympiakos Monaco, Metiniki, and hopefully big party on Sunday night. Ade. Let's see. Με το καλό and χρόνια πολλά to Manolis' son.
Με το
Guys,
τέταρτο τη Δευτέρα.
με το καλό. For the 4th EuroLeague Championship. Άντε, guys, good night. Kalinihta, Kalimera, Kalispera, wherever you are in the world. This is Gate 7 International, your number one English source for all things Olympiakos, by the fans, for the fans. See you next time.